I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact focused on personal growth, my Knowledge Workbook series and Creative Healing course can help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about no contact takes your ex's power away. You know, if you have been broken up with by somebody else and you were dumped, it is one of the worst feelings in the world, and it's awful because you feel like you're spiraling, you feel out of control, you feel like you're helpless, and it's hopeless. I understand. Okay, I've been there. I know how challenging breakups are. I've struggled with breakups in my early life, and I've been impacted by breakups. So I know what you're going through. The reason I understand this stuff is because I went through it, and I studied it for years and years and years. And my goal when I launched the channel was to be the best in the world at this, well before I ever put out one video. Because for me, breakups were so traumatic and impacted my life in so many ways, just and beyond my own romantic relationships, but with my parents each being married 3 times and having attachment trauma because my mom and dad split up when I was a year and a half old, had massive amounts of separation anxiety going to my dad's house. So I didn't understand this stuff, okay? Even in my master's program, they didn't really touch on this stuff yet. This is much newer to the field, as you can see. But my passion has always been in breakups and helping people in that area. And so I know what it feels like when you feel like your ex has all the power. They've ended the relationship. You're powerless, begging, pleading, trying to change your mind, trying to convince them, trying to show them how much you care, trying to tell them how much you care, trying to get them to remember all the good times. I did it all. I did all of it. It was really cringeworthy. I look back at it and I'm like, that was rough. I never was mean or hurtful. Some people can get to that place, but I was just like, I don't understand. Like, why are you doing this? This doesn't make any sense to me. And of course, now it makes a lot more sense because I understand it wasn't really about me and my connection with them. It had to do with them mostly and what they were going through in their life and just not being ready for a long-term relationship. But I know that feeling. You feel like you're beneath your partner in a way. You can't be yourself with them anymore. You feel like you can't just be you and them and that dynamic that you had where you used to laugh and joke and banter with them and play with them. Everything feels so overwhelming and scary, like you're afraid to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, and you're always looking for reassurance. You come across like you're a beggar, and it's like you're trying to sell something to someone, right? So then you're trying to sell something to someone that doesn't want it. It feels like you're trying to sell seawater to the ocean, okay? They ain't buying, they're not interested. But you can't help get out of that mode. It's really tough because you have an agenda. Your agenda is, let's fix this. I want to repair this. And you're consumed by what can I say or do to repair this, and trying to beg for answers like, do you think we could get back together again? Do you think if we have 2 months, can we get back together then? And the truth of the matter is, they don't even know, okay? And when you're behaving like that, it's going to make it less likely that they do want to turn it around. But that anxiety that you have, it feels like survival or death. And I've talked about this for a long time. You can see a lot of the new coaches talking about my work, right? It feels like death, okay? And when I started to realize the correlation between, I feel like I'm dying, and I was able to articulate it and talk about it with Margaret, we started to really see that this was because of our biology and survival. And we feel like we will survive without our loved ones because biologically we could, or we did. And if you look at many, many thousands of years ago, depending upon what you want to believe, you could see that if we weren't close to the people that we loved, our tribe or whatever it was, we were a lot more likely to die. So that's why we do feel like death when we're going through this breakup and not talking to our ex. But that actually works for your advantage too, in the sense that your ex will get there. Okay, that's why I'm trying to teach you guys about no contact and not reaching out, because your ex can get to that place too, but it is a process, okay? But I'm going to get to that, because at first you're like this shell of you. You're not even you anymore with them. You're just a shell of you, and you're feeling like you're not yourself, you're not you anymore, and you're acting like this in front of them. And so they kind of feel sorry for you, right? It's like they lose the attraction and now they feel sorry for you. And they can't overcome those feelings, right? So they lose attraction in a way. Like, it's not like they find you physically unattractive anymore. It's just that this person in front of them is unattractive, and that's all they can see. And you're pushing them, you're asking for answers, and they don't want to keep telling you no, but you keep pushing them and putting them in that position. And I have a really good analogy for you to think about, okay? Think about a child that asks his parents for something, okay? And the parent says no. There's only so much of telling that child no that they can take before they're going to lose their temper, okay? If you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. You tell your child no for whatever reason, and they don't understand, so they keep asking again and again and again. And so that's kind of how we become at the time of the breakup if you don't go into no contact. And that's what we feel like, right? A powerless child. And our parents get fed up and they lose their temper. And that's kind of what happens with your ex. They can only handle those questions for so long before they lose their temper. But once you leave them alone, think about it. If a parent and a child are arguing and the child leaves the parents alone and drops it, eventually the parent is like, maybe I shouldn't have said no. Maybe I was too mean. I shouldn't have lost my temper with them. No contact can help do that to your ex, okay? But it takes time. Just like a parent will rethink things. And if you think about your own parents, if you left them alone about this thing that you really wanted, eventually they probably rethought it and maybe even gave it to you, right? Maybe they said, oh, you can earn it. So it's not too dissimilar with an ex, okay? But you have to stop reaching out. The only way they kind of go through this and that process is if you're leaving them alone. So no contact can make them wonder about a lot of different things, including, well, maybe I should fix this, right? See, when you leave them alone for a while, you look confident. And then they start to get uncertain. Because now the power imbalance that was there for so long at the time of the breakup is no longer like that. Only if you've stopped reaching out. This is why I'm telling you, you can't do these handwritten letters, clean slate messages, good reminder text. All of that is still a form of begging to the parent. Okay? Just follow that analogy. But in time, your ex does start to miss you. And the things that you did at the time of the breakup kind of fade, and it becomes about who you were, how the relationship was, how meaningful you were in their life. And then they start to really care about losing you, right? Now, the more begging and pleading you did and the more grand gestures and all those things that you did at the time of the breakup, the longer it's going to take for them to get there. So the sooner you go into no contact and leave them alone, the sooner they're going to go through the process of rethinking things. Now, of course, not every ex is going to come back and not every ex is going to rethink things. Every situation is different and every breakup is different. That's why we do coaching, to really help guide you through these things. So I can't say that it's always going to work, but in my opinion, it is the strongest thing that you can do. It is the most confident thing that you can do. So they start to get to this place where they're missing you here and there, more and more, watching your social media, wondering what you're doing, if you're dating other people, if they can lose you. and the dynamic changes, okay? So the power that they had at the time of the breakup, it's not the same way because now they don't know you still want them, right? If you play your cards close to your chest, they don't know how you feel about them or if you would even give them another chance. So you can't keep acting like you did at the time of the breakup. This is very important. If your ex reaches out or contacts you, I struggled with having little conversations here and there where I was stuck at the time of the breakup, where that was that power imbalance. I wasn't acting confident. I was trying, but I didn't understand this stuff. I didn't know, okay, don't bring up those things. Don't bring up these things. So it's really important that you're not acting like the person that you did at the time of the breakup. It's really hard. This is why you got to do the work. If you don't do the work, you're going to be likely to get sucked right back in that mode of dumpy and lose all your power in front of your ex. What you want to do is you want to show up as kind of like the old you. This is when they reach out. I'm not talking about you reaching out to do these things. When it's meant to happen, when they start getting in touch with you, you need to show that you're the old you, but with new changes. That's important. Don't tell them you've changed. Don't tell them you've changed. You let them see it for themselves. If you tell them that you changed, it's going to backfire, okay? But they will start to feel that attraction for you again, okay? It would be like if you wrecked your car, you total it badly, not completely totaled, but you got the repairs. But then on top of getting the repairs, you got some upgrades, right? That's kind of how you want to show up after no contact, is like you're you, but you're with these new, more attractive upgrades, okay? So that will get you to a place where you're more equals. It won't be such a power imbalance anymore. And we just want you to get to a place where you're equals. We don't want to play games like that. That's really toxic and manipulative. If you're just trying to get revenge on your ex, don't waste your time. Just move on, move forward, okay? Don't be like that. We want you to act like adults. And we're trying to put you in a place where you can create something healthy and meaningful again. And no contact is about giving you time to calm down, heal, grow, improve yourself, and see if you can repair this in a healthy way. But it'll also take that power imbalance away from your ex. So when you get in front of them again, it's more on equal footing, equal ground, as long as you're not looking too eager or desperate. It's critical that you focus on personal growth. I'm telling you guys, as difficult as you may think it is, it's like 10 times harder because it's not just one day or one conversation. It's going to be a slow process where you're implementing all these new skills and strategies to be more attractive and have a healthier connection. So trust me when I tell you, yes, no contact is powerful, but it depends upon what you do in that time and in that space. If you're only watching these no contact videos, you're going to see it blow up in your face, okay? I've seen it so many times over the years. I've coached so many people, and they're like, I wish I had listened to you. That's the number one regret I get, is I wish I had listened to you on our call, in the email coaching. I didn't stick to the plan. I didn't stick to the strategies. I stopped working on myself when I thought my ex wasn't coming back. That is a big thing that I hear. Don't let that be you. You be the person that says, my personal growth is my priority. My mental health is my priority, and I want to get to a great place within myself. So I'm either blowing away my ex when they come back, or I'm going to blow away the people that I meet that I really like. That mindset is going to be a lot more likely to help you attract your ex back and or attract somebody new. All right, so hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get my help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. You can get my creative healing course and my workbooks only on my website. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.